Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Environment and Ecology PT series. Let's begin with the topics for today. The first one being Sweet Revolution. Let's know about Sweet Revolution. Khadi and Village Industries Commission. It has launched India's first ever mobile honey processing van in the region of Uttar Pradesh. So what is KVIC basically? KVIC is a statutory body which came into being by the Act of KVIC 1956. It works under the aegis of Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME. And the act with respect to KVIC has been amended just twice, in 1965 and in 2006. So short preliminary facts for that. And this particular van will process beekeepers' honey at their doorstep. Beekeeping is also known as apiculture, and it is a very important as well as a very economical profession when it comes to India. So keep this in mind, apiculture. Transportation of honey to processing plants is an expensive affair for small farmers and beekeepers, and this is why this initiative has been taken in pursuance of Sweet Kranti or Sweet Revolution. Okay, so points to remember: it has been launched by KVIC. Certain points about KVIC, and then where? Uttar Pradesh. And let's know more about it. Let's talk about Sweet Revolution. It's an ambition of the government of India for promoting apiculture, that I told you, beekeeping to produce honey, and it will provide a booster shot to the Sweet Revolution. A dedicated approach, if it will be given, of course it will help. It aims to accelerate the production of good quality of honey, not only the amount but the quality, and other related products as well, such as royal jelly, bees, wax and pollen. So whichever things are interrelated with respect to beekeeping, those have also been kept in mind. Moving on, beekeeping is a low investment and highly skilled enterprise. Although it's low investment does not have to be a lot, but it is highly skilled, and scaling up beekeeping will double farmers' income, which is the dream of India, to be achieved by 2022, generate employment and increase crop productivity as well. So farmers, they rely not only on agriculture but other allied activities such as cattle rearing, beekeeping, in order to supply the amount of skill that is needed for other professions as well in relation to agriculture. The government is doing so. So objectives are organized and tech driven. Bee farming sector, it's an excellent initiative, and it will help in reducing unemployment and generating employment opportunities, reducing the honey extraction as well as processing cost. Whatever can be minimized, it will be also serving as the objective. It will also eliminate any scope for adulteration of honey, so that just to produce good quality, sugar is not adulterated with honey. That has been done a lot in the past few years. And it will also maintain purity and highest quality standards of honey. It will help attain sustainable development goals of 1, that is no poverty. Let's try to understand through here. There are 17 sustainable goals to be achieved. First is no poverty. Of course, the Sweet Revolution will do so. Zero hunger as well. Okay. Good health and well-being also is under it. Good quality of food, because we are providing. Then we also will have how many things? Let's go through one by one. Quality education, no, not very relevant. But of course, with respect to sustainable development goals, you should know all the 17 development goals. 5th is gender equality. 6th is clean water and sanitation. 7th is affordable energy and clean energy. Then decent work to economic growth. This is related to Sweet Revolution occupation. Okay. Then industry, innovation and infrastructure, again 9. Reduced inequalities, 10 is also standing. Sustainable cities and communities. 12th is responsible consumption and production, as well as 13 is climate action, and 14th is life below water, 15th is life on land, then 16th is peace, justice and strong institutions, 17 is partnership for the goals. Moving on to this, the Honey Mission program was launched by the KVIC in 2017-18. Okay, as a revolution, it was launched in 2017-18. It aims to promote apiculture activities and provide self-sustaining employment opportunities among the farmers, not only the farmers but the tribals which are dependent on the forest produce, and unemployed youth in rural area. Beneficiaries who are provided with bee boxes, live bee colonies, toolkits. Of course, they have been provided with such things in order to boost their self-employment opportunities as well as training in this culture as well, apiculture as well. Now, production of honey in the world. If we talk about honey production, India has a lot of potential to produce good quality of honey. India already does very well in this regard. So, China, Turkey, Canada, Argentina, Iran and USA are the major honey producing countries, and China is the largest. Remember this very well. Which country is the largest? China is the largest among honey producing countries, and India is at the 8th position. And with respect to export countries, the biggest exporting countries of India's honey or destination are USA is first. Okay, we also have Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bangladesh and Canada. Also, the major natural honey producers in the country are Northeast and Maharashtra region. Okay, so these are the prelims important facts. Moving on, let's talk about Najafgarh Jheel Rejuvenation Plan. If we talk about Najafgarh Jheel Rejuvenation Plan, the news is that the National Green Tribunal, it directed, as it is a quasi-judicial body, it directed Delhi and Haryana to enforce the Environment Management Plan. Remember, it is a quasi-judicial body. It is, of course, it's a watchdog with respect to the environment in the country. And the plan prepared by both the governments for rejuvenation as well as protection of Najafgarh Jheel, which is a transboundary wetland. So, transboundary wetlands become a huge responsibility for the states they are spanning across. Okay, so priority according to the Environment Management Plan, the priority is to notify the Najafgarh Jheel and its area of influence under the Wetlands Rules of 2017. The rules prohibit and regulate the certain activities within wetlands and their zone of influence. Now, Najafgarh Jheel Rejuvenation Plan is the immediate measure that need to be taken for preserving it, such as demarcating the boundary of wetland using geotagged pillars. So, geotagged pillars will be used, commissioning a hydrological assessment and species inventory as well. What species are there so that ecological balance could be maintained, the chain is not disturbed, and it proposes a detailed estimation of what sewage is being generated and considering the 15 years of projected population in that area. Identification of all drains which are contributing to the pollution in the lake. And if we talk about Najafgarh Jheel Rejuvenation Plan and Najafgarh Jheel under it, it is located close to Gurugram Rajokari border on National Highway 48. Remember that. Lake is largely filled with sewage, and that is the very big reason. First of all, methane production will be boosted with respect to this if this continues, and it's a very potent greenhouse gas. Presence of 281 bird species are there, which also includes the threatened species of Egyptian vulture, Saris crane, and we also have steppe eagle in the region. Okay, it is known to be a habitat of migratory bird and resident water birds. So this is the very reason why Najafgarh Jheel should be protected. Wetlands are basically areas where water is the major factor controlling the environment and associated plant and animal life. In the world, there is approximately 6.4% of the world that is covered by wetland. In India, it is 4.63%. Okay, 4.63%. And also in India, inland wetlands are greater in quantity with respect to comparing them to the coastal wetland. So if it is asked in your prelims examination, then inland wetlands are greater than the coastal wetlands. It could be done otherwise, but no, that would be false. It occurs where the water table is at or near the surface of the land and where land is covered by water. And so much of the population of India depends on wetlands for harvesting fishes, for other important economic activities that they take. And 2nd February is the World Wetlands Day. It was on this date in 1971 that the Ramsar Convention on Wetland was adopted in Ramsar, Iran. Ramsar is the site in Iran. Okay. So India as of yet, it has 49 wetlands. Okay. 49 wetlands. and the largest amount of wetlands is in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has 10 wetlands, okay? Uttar Pradesh has 10 wetlands. I told you that with respect to the inland wetlands, they are greater in number as compared to the coastal wetlands. So with respect to inland wetlands, Gujarat stands at the top, okay? 10 wetlands we have in Uttar Pradesh, which is followed by Punjab. Punjab has 6 wetlands, okay? Then after that, we have Gujarat, and then we have the rest of the states. That's not important. Top 3 are, of course, we know, 10 are in UP, 6 are in Punjab, and then after that in Gujarat, and then the rest of the states. Moving on, if we talk about the next topic, that is with respect to cage aquaculture. Let's know what. Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairies. It has organized a webinar on cage aquaculture and reservoir that is sleeping giants. GOI, that is Government of India, is promoting cage aquaculture under the flagship scheme of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So if it is asked that it is an independent program, no, it is under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Okay, remember this. And it aims to have robust cage culture system in the reservoirs, including potential markets to ensure good returns to farmers. Okay, again, like apiculture, this is cage aquaculture. Cage systems, they efficiently utilize the water body by harnessing their natural productivity and also are economically, socially and ecologically variable, okay, because the fishes are kept over there in the natural ecosystem. The natural ecosystem just has a cage around it, and the fish can thrive in the natural ecosystem without disturbing their environment, and this is a very good thing. What is cage aquaculture? It involves culturing fishes in existing water resources while being enclosed in a net cage, and that allows the free flow of water. This also has certain disadvantages, because if with respect to keeping the fishes in perfect condition, if we keep cage aquaculture in mind, we feed them, and that feed can go across if the water is free flowing, and nutrient collection can, of course, it can lead to eutrophication, right? And it's an aquaculture production system which is made up of floating frame, net materials and mooring system. It may be of round or square shaped floating net in order to hold and culture large number of fishes, and they can be installed anywhere such as reservoir, river, lakes or sea. So this could be a question that cage aquaculture can be taken up only in reservoir and rivers. No, but lake and sea can also be a part of it. Cage farms are positioned in such a way that they utilize the natural currents of the water, and it provides the fish with oxygen and other appropriate natural condition. Okay, let's talk about cage culture in India. Sea cage farming in India, it was initiated by whom? Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute. It had the support of Ministry of Agriculture, remember that. Okay, and also National Fisheries Development Board. Very important, it can be a prelims question, this statement. Okay, and for the first time ever, it started in which state? It started in Andhra Pradesh, and that too in the year 2005. Okay, and also now let's move on to the next topic, that is Coastal Vulnerability Index. Coastal Vulnerability Index, with respect to it, Indian National Center for Ocean Information System, it carried out a coastal vulnerability assessment. Now this institute comes under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, remember that. Okay, and assessment for the entire Indian coast at states level, remember that. Which level? States level. It was done to prepare a coastal vulnerability index, because the coasts of India are huge and coasts are very much impacted by the climate change nowadays. As water level is rising, more and more cyclones and disasters are taking place, so that is why this index has been launched. Coastal vulnerability is a spatial concept to identify people as well as the places which are susceptible to disturbances which are resulting from coastal hazards. And in this respect, with the reference of hazards, what do we mean? Sea level rise and bank erosion. The higher the sea level rise, the more will be the erosion, and that is with respect to global warming, because the water is expanding. When the sea water absorbs what? Heat from the atmosphere, it starts expanding, and that causes erosion and sea level rise. It poses significant threat to the coastal system. All right. Also, Atlas, it is an atlas which comprises of 156 maps. These are prepared for CVI. Maps determine the coastal risk which are due to future sea level rise. And how many parameters are there? This is the prelims fact: tidal range, wave height, coastal slope, coastal elevation. So these are the major parameters. Then coastal vulnerability assessment, it is useful for coastal disaster management and also building resilient coastal community so that early warning can be given to them and rehabilitation plan can be structured from the very beginning. Okay, INCOIS is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Earth Sciences and it has the location of headquarters at Hyderabad, which year it was established in 1999, and it is a unit of Earth System Science Organization, New Delhi, mandated to provide the best possible ocean information to the society and other stakeholders such as academia, government agencies, and that is through sustained ocean observance. Let's talk about blue blob. Now, what is blue blob? This sounds funny. So, recent study theorizes, what does it theorize? That blue blob, which is a cold patch, it helped temporarily stall the melting of Arctic sea ice. Which sea ice? Arctic, not Antarctic, not somewhere else, but Arctic sea ice. And the study has been published where? In Geophysical Research Letters. Okay, remember that. So what is blue blob? Blue blob is a cold patch which is located south of Iceland and Greenland. Origins of the blob are currently unknown. So not north or east or west. This could be a prelims question. South of Iceland and Greenland. Okay. Origins of this blob are currently unknown and its prominence rises in the season of winter and its prominence risen in the winter of 2014 and 15 when the sea surface temperature was 1.4 degrees Celsius colder than the normal. So you can remember that the prominence, when did it came into the prominence? Okay, and what is the significance? Ocean temperatures in the blue blob are much colder than the surrounding areas and Arctic region is reportedly warming 4 times faster. How many times faster? 4 times faster than the entire global average. So that will start affecting blue blob as well. Iceland's glaciers, they steadily shrank. Shrank means when the water started to go out of the glaciers, of course it will shrink down, and that was from the year 1995 to 2010. So just in the span of this time, it lost an average of 11 billion tons of ice per year. That is also something to be concerned about. So speed of Iceland's melting slowed only in the year 2011, and this trend was not seen in nearby or the largest glacier that are spread across Greenland and Svalbard. So what is this anomaly? Why did this anomaly happen? And that was the role of blue blob. It has been theorized that this was done by blue blob. So blue blob is a positive thing. Researchers have said that blue blob is chilling the air over Iceland. Okay, so wherever it is present, this patch, it is chilling the ice that has been present over Iceland. Okay, chilling the air that has been present over Iceland, and it is potentially explaining the reduction in melt in 2011. So it is keeping the Iceland's air in check, that it does not heat further. Okay, the finding is important. Why? Because it improves the understanding of trends throughout the Arctic, and blob's effects at reducing Iceland's ice melt will dissipate near 2050 when ocean and air temperatures, they are expected to rise. So the glaciers in Iceland, they could lose 1/3 of their volume by 2100 and completely extinct by 2030. Rising temperatures will overcome cooling effect and match rapid melting rates seen in Greenland and Norwegian archipelagos, Svalbard by mid-50s. Okay. Now let's talk about Montreux Convention. It's not Montreux, okay? It's Montreux Convention. So Montreux Convention and Montreux records, they are different things. Remember that. Convention is with respect to international relations. Turkey has implemented the Montreux Convention in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and it has banned Russian vessels from entering the Black Sea through the Bosphorus Strait and the Dardanelles Strait. So this is what we are going to discuss. First, let's know about the convention. It is an international agreement which regulates the use of Turkish straits. And which are the Turkish straits? The Dardanelles Sea of Marmara and Bosphorus. So the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits, these are under Turkish control. It could be a question. The Bosphorus and Dardanelles Strait are under the control of which of the following countries? Turkey. Okay. It links the Black Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. And if we talk about Montreux Convention, it was signed on July 20, 1936 at the Montreux Palace in Switzerland. And it came into effect from November 1936, so it's an old treaty. Also, the convention was ratified by the countries of Australia, Bulgaria, France, United Kingdom of Great Britain, and Northern Ireland, Greece, Japan, Romania, Turkey, Yugoslavia, and also the Soviet Union. So what is the basis for implementation? When do we have to implement? These are the certain things that we have to keep in mind. The Montreux Convention can be implemented when? So these are the given options and you have to choose 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, like that. Okay. Convention allowed Turkey to close these straits to all warships in times of war and to permit merchant ships free passage. It could be a question that all warship and merchant ship, they will not be allowed a free passage during the time of war. Okay. So no, only merchant ships will be permitted. And it sets the limits on passage of civilian vessel and military warship through the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus Strait. Okay. So this could be the question that we have to be very careful about. Let's talk about Karevas. Karevas are very importantly a complex soil structure in the valley of Kashmir which support the very good quality of saffron. So that is why we are going to discuss it. Let's talk why. Kashmir is highly fertile alluvial soil. So this is what? An alluvial soil. These deposits are called Karevas. Okay, their name are Karevas. And they are being destroyed in the name of development, which is going to have impact on the economic activity and of course the importing capacity of India with respect to saffron. So despite its agricultural and also archaeological importance, Karevas are now being excavated in the name of construction, and that is not a very healthy news. In Kashmiri dialect, Karewa means elevated tableland. Okay, so if it is asked in prelims examination, then you know what does it mean, elevated tableland. Okay, and firstly, this term was used by whom? As I told you, it has geological and archaeological importance. So Godwin Austen, he was the first ever person to use it, and later on by Lydekker. Okay, and Wudur is the local name for Karevas in Kashmir. So if it is asked, Wudur refers to which of the following? You know what it is. Karevas are thick deposits of what? Glacial clay and other materials which are embedded with moraines. Okay, and also these are unconsolidated lacustrine deposits. They are not consolidated, they are unconsolidated lacustrine deposits. It is known for saffron cultivation, and the Kashmiri saffron got a geographical indication status tag only in the year 2020. It's distinguished by larger and thicker stigmas, the saffron, and it has natural deep red color. In Kashmir, 3 varieties of saffron are available. First is Lacha, second is Mongra, and third is Gucci. So what the words Lacha and Mongra and Gucci, it refers to which of the following? It is a type of saffron grown in Kashmir. Okay, and Kashmir Valley resides between the Great Himalayas, remember this from the perspective of geography, and the Pir Panjal ranges. Okay, so Great Himalayas and the Pir Panjal range. And in earlier times, remember, in earlier times, with the upliftment of Pir Panjal ranges, the flow of the river has stopped. Kashmir Valley became a large lake, and slowly the glacial deposits have accumulated here. This is the process of how Karevas formed. Okay, the water, it drained away, and whatever the deposits in unconsolidated form were left, they are known as Karevas, which are left there. So what are the challenges? First, Srinagar airport, it is being built on the Damodar Karewa in Budgam. So first challenge is there. Karevas are being excavated for projects such as Srinagar Ring Road and other projects. This is from the perspective of economic development as well as from the perspective of security as well. And certain Karevas were raised to the ground for clay for the 125-kilometer long Kazigund-Baramulla rail line. Okay, now let's talk about Koyna Dam. So CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, has raised the issue of incomplete hydroelectric project on the Koyna Dam of Maharashtra. And The funds have been blocked for more than 6 years. This is the problem that we are dealing with right now. Now let's know about Koyna Dam. It's the largest dam in Maharashtra, which is located in Koyna River, located on the Koyna River, and that is in Satara district, Koyna district of Satara. It is nestled in the Western Ghats on the state highway between Chiplun and, of course, Karev. It is a rubble concrete dam built on Koyna River, and the stage 5 of Koyna hydroelectric power project is under construction. It supplies water to Western Maharashtra as well as hydroelectric power to neighboring areas. It plays a vital role in flood control in monsoon. We know what is the status of monsoon with respect to Western Ghats, and the catchment area dams the Koyna River and forms the Shiv Sagar Lake. This is a prelims fact. Take a screenshot. It is one of the largest civil engineering projects which were commissioned after the Indian independence. Question for you with respect to Koyna Dam, that it was, consider the following statements with respect to Koyna Dam. It was commissioned before independence. No, it was commissioned after independence. And the second could be the catchment area forms the Shiv Sagar Lake. So this is true. Second statement is true. First is false. Okay. The Koyna hydroelectric project is run by Maharashtra State Electricity Board. And Koyna Wildlife Sanctuary is very important with respect to this dam. So Koyna Wildlife Sanctuary was notified so in the year 1985. And in 2007, Koyna Wildlife Sanctuary along with the Chandoli National Park, it was declared as a part of Sahyadri Tiger Reserve. How many tiger reserves do we have? Tell me in the comment segment. It was by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. And also if we talk about Koyna River, it's a tributary of which river? Krishna River. Very important. And it rises in Mahabaleshwar, which is a hill station in Sahyadri range. It flows in the north to south direction, unlike other rivers in Maharashtra which flow east to west. Okay, so this is also a very important prelims fact. It flows in the north to south direction, and this is not like any other river of Maharashtra. Generally, they flow from east to west. Okay, it flows in the north to south direction. And four tributaries, Kera, Wang, Morna and Mahind are there. Rivers Kera, Wang and Morna are dammed. That means they have dam over there. Let's know about Glasgow Summit COP 2022, which was basically supposed to happen earlier, but because of the challenges of COVID-19, we had to, of course, turn it into in the year 2021, which happened at Glasgow. So COP is Conference of Parties. It is the highest level decision-making body with respect to climate change. It works under the aegis of, that means it was established under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And UNFCCC was formed only in the year 1994 in order to stabilize greenhouse gas emission. So the first ever COP it was held in Berlin. Okay, Berlin, Germany, only in the year 1995. So let's know about COP 26. It was held in Glasgow in UK. It took place from 31st October to 12th November 2021. And it urged the countries to strengthen their 2030 targets by COP 27, which is the next COP. COP 27 is going to be held in Egypt in 2022. Before this, the COP 25, it was held in Spain. Okay, COP 25 was in Spain, Madrid. Then COP 24 was in Katowice, Poland, right? Remember this. This could be like a match the following. COP 24 and the country it's given. You have to match if they are correctly paired or not. Okay. Then India's commitment. The Prime Minister presented 5 nectar elements. That is the Panchamrit of India's climate action. First, very important. These are extremely important to be learned. Reach 500 gigawatt non-fossil energy capacity by 2030. 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy by the year 2030. Reduction of net estimated carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now to 2030. So, a prelims question could be like, India has committed 500 gigawatt energy from non-fossil based sources by the year 2050. No, it's 2030, like this. Okay. Also, by 2030, in order to reduce carbon intensity of the economy, it should be taken to less than 45%, achieving the target of net zero emission by 2070. What is net zero emission? Net zero emission, a question was also there with respect to this in UPSC. Net zero emission basically means whatever emissions are there with respect to greenhouse gases or carbon dioxide, it is taken away from the atmosphere. So it's not possible that we do not at all emit carbon dioxide, right? So whatever has been emitted, it should be absorbed from the atmosphere, removing it and then making net zero. So net zero emission is a state in which countries' total emissions are offset by absorptions of CO2 from the atmosphere, and it is also known as carbon neutrality. India has joined the consensus and announced its net zero target of 2070. So what is the year that we have to keep in mind with respect to net zero emission? It's the year 2070. Also remember the net zero emission of big emitters such as USA and China. Okay, moving on. If we talk about climate equity monitor, it's India's push for climate equity in terms of action needed to be taken by developed countries to achieve climate and energy goals. It tracks various aspects of climate change, and the methane pledge is the most striking feature of Glasgow summit. European Union and US, they launched a landmark pledge to slash emissions of greenhouse gas, methane, which is a potential greenhouse gas. It's the second most potential greenhouse gas after carbon dioxide. With respect to methane, it's the primary component of natural gas. It is also formed naturally apart from anthropogenic sources. We also have certain important sources of methane to be from wetlands, bacteria and termites who are feeding on organic matter, volcanic eruption, methane hydrates which are present in continental shelves. Seafloor also emits methane. Apart from that, anthropogenic causes are of course forming natural gas, processing for natural gas. Then we have, of course, livestock rearing, which leads to methane enhancement in the atmosphere. We have agriculture, in which rice sowing is the most important source of methane enhancement in the atmosphere. Participants to reduce global methane emission, at least how much percent? 30%. From the levels, the comparative years will be from 2020, we will measure to 2030, if 30% of the methane has been reduced or not. And besides the European Union and US, 103 countries have signed up so far, including major methane emitters like Nigeria and Pakistan. So it could be a question, has Nigeria and Pakistan have not signed this pledge, which will be wrong because they have. Okay, and the pledge now covers emission from 2/3 of the global economy, but China, Russia and India, they have not signed up, while Australia, remember this fact, while Australia has said that it will not back the pledge. Okay, let's talk about the deforestation pledge. National leaders, they pledge to halt and reverse deforestation and land degradation by the end of the decade, because forests are there to sequester carbon. And one of our goals, the nationally determined commitments of India with respect to Paris Agreement, is that we have to make sure that 2.5 to 3 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide has to be sequestered, so that we have net zero emission, and that will have to be achieved through forestation, having good amount of forest cover. Underpinned by US $19 billion in public and private funds to invest in protecting and restoring forest. Agreement expands 2014 New York Declaration of Forests and promises more resources as well. So India financed climate finances bill how much? US $1 trillion in order to meet the goals of addressing the climate change. And also it has requested LMDC countries to join India and support global initiative it has pioneered, like the International Solar Alliance, which was done in COP21 at the Paris Agreement. Besides that, we had Solar Alliance, which is a treaty-based organization. It's a treaty-based institutionalization of the agreement that the countries which are present between the tropics, they are known as Surya Putras. So between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, we have the countries which are having a lot of, they have abundance of solar energy. So in order to tap that potential, and economically and environmentally we have to be capable of that, it has been done by International Solar Alliance. Its headquarters is at Gurugram, remember that. The UK and India launched a fund in order to keep small island states to prepare themselves against climate change. So which countries have done so? UK and India, remember that. Okay, and if we talk about One Sun, One World, One Grid group, it was launched, which is an initiative of India with the UK, aims to connect energy grids across borders to facilitate faster transition to the use of renewable energy. It includes a group of governments called Green Grids Initiative, One Sun, One World, One Grid Group. Aim of it is to achieve the pace and scale of reforms and infrastructure needed to underpin global energy transition. Okay, according to International Solar Alliance, which is a global solar grid, it will be implemented in 3 phases. First will be the Indian grid. It will interconnect Middle East, South Asia and Southeast Asia grids to share solar energy resources. This can be a good prelims question, so remember this fact. Okay, it will be for meeting electricity needs, that will be during peak demand, and especially when India and all the other countries are trying to reduce their dependence on coal, right? It will then be interconnected with African power pools in this second phase. So second phase is of African power pools, also remember this point. All right, and the third phase would cover global interconnection of power transmission grid to achieve the vision of one sun, one world, one grid. So that's it. We shall meet again soon. Thank you so much for watching.